Welcome to the Purpose with Purvis show. I'm Jacklyn Purvis, and I'm here with my dad, my mentor, my business partner, Jamie Purvis. We're the father-daughter coaching team and co-founders of the Be Do Have movement. Each week, we're going to be diving into real-life strategies, inspiring stories to help you dream big, find your purpose, and take actionable steps towards living the life you've always wanted. Welcome back, everyone, to the Purpose with Purvis show. September's this reset. It's this time to realign, focus on what matters, what's driving you, what's important to you, and it's really that getting back on track. It's our favorite time, a little bit more so than January. So it really is that back to business. And we thought it would be fun to go through what we've been going through, how we've been resetting, and what this looks like, some of the ways that you're doing this with clients as well, Jamie. Let's dive into it.
Awesome.
So coming out of the summer, what's that looks like for you? I'll talk to you a little bit what that looks like for me. I know that my routines have been a hot mess since sort of moving and being all over the place. So it truly felt nice this September. What do I need to adjust? What habits aren't serving me any longer? And just really taking that time to sort of stop and reflect and set a new plan, a new action, a new strategy in place for how you want to show up.
Yeah, I feel the last week of August, I mentally checked out and I just focused on catching up, odds and ends around the house, literally just letting everything go for the month, knowing that, okay, come September 1st, kids are back in school, people are getting back into the flow of work, and it happens every time. I've seen it over and over again for my entire 40-year career in real estate. So we did the same thing this year and literally just took the time, decompressed, and then got really clear and focused that September 1st was like January 1st. It's like Happy New Year in September, because there seems to be a lot of optimism out there. You know, after you come off the summertime, you've had some time with family and holidays, we're optimistic for the fall, right? It's almost like whatever happened prior to that is gone. I'm excited. I'm going to hit my goals this year. That's what I'm noticing. And that's how obviously I'm feeling the exact same way right now. So we like to set this, mental reset in our mind that it's Happy New Year. And how we finish the year is a springboard for Q1 next year. So it's really vital to step into the identity of the person that's achieving their goals, getting clear on what that even looks like, and just putting into practice the work that's going to generate the activities or generate the income for you based on whatever your business is or whatever you're doing.
And it's interesting because I almost find this time of year specifically, there's more energy around it because it's a reset where you had personal time through the summer and you were wanting to get back on track. Whereas sometimes personally anyways, I find New Year's, it's a little bit like you're coming off vacation, you're like a little sluggish, you're like, oh, now I need to like vision board and reset all these goals. Like the energy is different around it. Why would you say now is such a strong time to get really clear, like that clarity element in your business?
It's the 90-day cycle. Think about it, right? The seasons, right? Every quarter we go through a new season. We're in a new season. And what I'm working on right now with my clients is let's forget December. Let's achieve our goals by the end of November. So we're in Q4. Like having that mental mindset that we're in Q4, we're going to finish strong. We need to get crystal clear on exactly what we need to do. What are our top income producing activities? Making sure your schedule is in alignment to that so that all you're focused on right now is those income producing activities. So knowing what the goals are, knowing what the intention is, and then just getting to work, doing what you know needs to get done. This is work time, right? So it's work time based on what our goals are. But just having that clarity, and I was talking to a client yesterday, less is more. Like right now, it's just peel out everything that isn't required for you to stay focused. Like the power of focus right now needs to be at such a high level. And the momentum that happens between now and the end of the year or end of November, that momentum is easily carried forward into the new year. So we're just riding the wave at that point. We're not having to build up in January. So that's the power of this time of year. I always love this time of year.
And let's break that down, right? Our goal in sharing this today is you can listen to this and walk away with some clarity for yourself. So if someone's listening to that, okay, what I heard you say was, what are the income producing activities that matter in your business and what needs to be released so that you can focus more on what's going to produce results for you? So something from a habit standpoint, and there's a lot of different takes on this, I'd say, but from a baseline is that to create a new, you can't just remove a bad habit, you need to replace it. That's the baseline first. So if you're trying to put something in, what are you removing to make that habit stick? Because if it is a revenue producing activity, there's going to be some time involved in making that part of your routine and your habit. So it's first looking at, okay, what do I want to perhaps stop doing right now? Maybe what's some habits that have been floating around since summer? These can be personal things too. Like I honestly found it was just TikTok as an example. If you're creating on that platform, fantastic. I was just doom scrolling on it, and that's such a waste of time. And I wasn't showing up on Instagram because of that. I just personally don't love the application. So it's interesting, like, okay, how much time am I actually spending on this thing? I can remove that activity. What can I replace it with that's actually going to be revenue producing activity? If that is showing up creating content, specifically on my side with what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, but truly looking at, okay, what can I remove? And now what am I replacing with that's going to produce revenue for my business? And for the agents that you're helping right now, Jamie, what would you say are the top 3 revenue producing activities that they're focused on?
It's going to depend on each individual person, right? So I think the first thing is, how have you generated most of your business? Just reflect on the year. Where has most of your business come from? So that's probably an area that you want to put more time in, right? So that becomes your income producing activity. So as an example, if it's workshops, if it's client events, if it's reaching out and connecting with 5 people a day, like proactively, maybe it's DMing people on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever that is for you. I think reflecting on what have you been doing that's generated success is the first opportunity. And then once you know what that is does your schedule reflect time to do it? So I personally don't like time management, that whole mindset around time management. I like to frame it as activity management. So we manage the activity within a block of space of time, but we put that activity into our schedule. So I know for myself right now, it's direct outreach. I've talked to a lot of people this year. I've had a lot of appointments this year. It's now circling back with everybody in the month of September. Where are you in your business? How has everything been going? Are you willing and open to explore having somebody support you along the way from a coaching perspective? We've got several different programs that we help people with. Right? So I'm circling back to people I've already talked to. So from a realtor's perspective, maybe now's the time is going back through all those leads you've maybe generated throughout the year. How are you going to circle back and check in with them? Direct message, email, whatever works, whatever you're aligned to. I think that's important. And just getting clear that that's an income producing activity. You do that every day, the results will show up, making sure that you implement that foundation every day.
So that could be cold outreach, that could be your marketing, that could be content creating. Again, it's whatever makes most sense for you. So something that we talk about in our business generator is helping agents articulate what their number one thing is. And that is different for every single agent. So I do appreciate you answering the question like that as well. But it's truly getting down to, okay, who were your top clients? How did you meet them? And how can you do more of those activities to connect with people like that again? So it's thinking back through that for yourself and getting clear on what makes sense for me and how am I making this a habit, essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've talked to 5 people in the last 2 days that said to me their number one source of business is referral. Mm-hmm. So what do? We look back at who is referring people to us. They're going to start to notice patterns, right? So if we went back over our business over the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, like take it back and look at where did the business come from? Source the business and look for patterns. Most active real estate agents, after they've been in the business for a while, they tend to generate a lot of referrals, and that's the number one source of business. So what then income activity can you produce into your schedule that is in alignment to building those relationships? Look at who are the top 4 or 5 people that are sending you the most referrals. Great opportunity to now reach out and connect with those people. Deepen those relationships. Patterns are something that if we take the time to reflect on them, we're going to see exactly what our previous success has been built on. And if we want more of the same, how do we take that activity and expand it, make it more, make it deeper, create more space in your activities, in your calendar so that you can put in the time to do that? but it's just self-awareness. A lot of this is that emotional intelligence, right? Part of having emotional intelligence, the first category, first criteria is having self-awareness. So how do you show up? How was your morning? How was your evening? Or how's your mindset? I feel right now, everyone's mindset is probably at a 9. Like everyone's feeling really good right now. This first week back, January 1st, the first week, really high. And then every week that goes by, what tends to happen is we can lose that momentum, right? We can lose that excitement. So we want to just basically honor what we have right now and get into that space and maintain it every single day. Days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, months turn to having an incredible quarter.
So we've talked about here too, getting clear on what that is for yourself. And I think that layer that Jamie just mentioned here is that step actually before that, which is what is the energy and intention that you're bringing into this month? So truly like answering that for yourself. What is that? What does that look like for you? I know because I can do this. It's really easy to get attached to the outcome when we're setting these business generating goals in terms of, what's the income I'm bringing in from this? How many people do I need to work with, or how many sales need to happen? And we get so attached to what that looks like that sometimes we forget like the human component of why we're doing this activity in the first place. We're personally, as an example, moving right now again to a new state, and it's just interesting being on the other side, like not being the agent on this and going through this. Because I think as an agent coming through, you're able to help someone move through this otherwise stressful process. So I think looking at it like, okay, who do I want to be this month? You can be someone's guide through this journey. Like you can be someone's support system through this, because otherwise going through this, it sucks. Like we're in a bad mood every single time we're looking at properties. It's crazy. So I'm craving that direction from an agent. So just knowing that going into the activities that you're setting this month, what is your intention? Who is it that you want to help and serve, and why? And truly answering that for yourself.
You know, what you just shared there, Jacklyn, what a gift for anybody that's listening to this to really hear from a client's perspective what they're going through right now, right? That anxiety, that fear, that struggle, the unknown, all that. And as a realtor, it's easy to get caught up in the just chase the business, right? Now, do the activity. Yet if we slow down, we can actually speed up. Slow down to be aware, be present for the person. Put yourself in their shoes. Like, what are they going through? You're uprooting yourself. You're buying and moving states. So it's an actual state transfer, right? You're upgrading your house. You're leaving a house that maybe you've been in for 20 years and you're upsizing, downsizing. It's a transformation. That transition is stressful. So as realtors, if we could just slow down, sort of put ourselves in that client's perspective, understand where they're coming from, and then just ask questions, knowing that you're going to guide them through this. I think understanding that as realtors, we're guides. And the questions we ask will give leadership and show leadership for other people. And as you listen, the person that you're speaking to is actually going to be drawn to you, right? They're going to follow you. Everybody's looking for leadership, and you just nailed it. You're looking for somebody to guide you through the process.
100%. And I think too, it's heightened when you're living in, whether that's the state or the province you're already in. But when you're moving and you don't even know like a neighborhood, I couldn't even list a neighborhood, that adds a whole other layer of like, what the fuck?
You know, I think you shared you had an experience with a realtor in Florida, right? You called them, you're looking to rent something, and they're like, if you're not here to see it in the next day or two, forget it. You're never going to get it. Well, you're not going to call that realtor back because they didn't even take the time to figure out or listen or ask you questions to learn more about your situation. So you're going to keep looking until you find somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So as realtors, think about the missed opportunities if we're not engaged in the moment with the person, right? We can't bring our stuff to the table. You can't worry about the goals. You can't, any of that. Just show up for the person and know that you're a leader and you're a guide. If that realtor would have been wise enough and had enough emotional intelligence to slow down, to ask you questions, say, hey, cool. You know what? This isn't probably going to work right now. When do you plan on being in the city? I can set you up. I can get some properties sent out in advance so you get prepared in different areas. I can give you all that information in advance. Check out my website. If they would have done that, boom, that transition as you get there would have turned into a rental, which would have potentially turned into a sale, which potentially turns into referrals, The missed opportunity is like, hey, if you're not here right now, forget it. You're never going to get it. Click on to the next one.
Which made our stress worse too, because it's like, what do you mean? Like now we're like feeling extra frantic in the process.
Right. So instead of, you don't want the pilot of a plane saying, oh my God, turbulence, hang on. Right. They all sound the same. They speak in a slow monotone voice. They feel like guided. They got you. Don't worry. Everything's good. Strap on your belt. There's going to be some minor turbulence coming. And you're bouncing around your seat, and that may not be minor, but for them, it's minor. It's that guide leader process. I think there's such a valuable message in what you just shared there. And I know you and I can get caught up in like go business, but we don't need to do more. We need to just slow down and just be aware and be present for people. You can have 5 conversations. Have 5 conversations a day and literally connect in those conversations. You don't need more, and you'll have more business you can handle. I see it happen all the time.
And it's really cool. I think the clients that have been in our world and our members that we've attracted have really just been good people at the end of the day. So I feel very blessed for that. But a lot of them too, what I've seen in them is it's all about connection with their clients. So the second you take it away from, I need to do 5 cold calls every single day, like the second you step back and just look at, I need to maintain relationships with the clients in my life, with the people that I've served before. I want to check in on them, see how they're doing, what's happening with them, maybe somebody in their life. Like that just changes the whole approach of the activity in the first place as well. When you stop making it about yourself and make sure you're bringing clear, intentional energy to the table when you're doing these activities in the first place as well.
I haven't even told you this, Jacklyn. I had a call that was booked by somebody. We jumped on the call. She filled out the questionnaire prior to the call. So I had a sense of what was going on in her world. And we jumped on the call and I said, what would you like to get out of today's session? And I could feel it because there was a delay. And first comment was, is this being recorded or shared with anybody? I said, no, this is between us. And she just literally went through everything that was going on in her world that had nothing to do with the way she answered those questions a week before. It was what was going on in her personal life that was causing her stress, which then led her to, oh my God, I have no business. I have no pipeline. How am I going to hit my goals? We went through a process. We went through this whole clarity session. It's called our clarity session. And we went and got her very clear and focused on what's next. We jumped on a call yesterday as a follow-up. She basically said, I went from 0 in my pipeline. We went through every potential lead she met. She went through open houses. She's got referrals. She has $100,000 of potential business in her pipeline in 1 week by resetting her mind. So having somebody that she could dump on, and that's what she said to me. She said, I just dumped on you. You were a complete stranger. You said, yeah, it's between me and you. And I just dumped. And it was the release of this. So I was being present for her. I was just open to whatever was on her mind. And that led to this byproduct of the conversation, which gave her direction on moving into income producing activities. For her, it was open houses. Boom. She went and did open houses for other realtors. And now all this business is showing up. Clarity, right? It's just so powerful. So powerful when you get clear on the direction, where you're going, and why you want it.
And why that matters. Right? So what happens when, like, let's say she didn't have that call with you? What would this next week have looked like?
Nobody knows the answer. My best guesstimate, the stuff she was going through would have heightened, would have compounded, and would have got worse, and wouldn't have done an open house on the long weekend, wouldn't have got into action, wouldn't have picked up the phone and reached out to people because the stuff that was going on was enough to paralyze her. That's because we get stuck in that confusion, right? We get stuck in the fear. We get stuck in the story.
And it's so interesting because I think like when we talk about mindset, that gets so lost in translation in terms of how much that affects your day-to-day life and your energy and how you're showing up with your clients. And in turn, yes, your revenue, your business, your growth. So it's like this dance between both worlds of I do need to make sure my mindset is at a certain point. I am showing up with a growth mindset. I'm not being fixed in anything. I'm open to opportunities. I'm also managing my nervous system so that my energy is good to show up in situations so that I'm producing in my business. It is a little bit of both of those two worlds there. So for anyone listening to this part as well, what Jamie just talked about is a vital piece. And you can even do this on a daily basis. Like you can start your day with this so you're not bringing your shit to your clients, so that you're showing up as a better person in real life. And that's just dump. Like 10 minutes, that's it. Put a timer, whatever is coming up, whether that's to-do lists, blocks, just thoughts. Get it out onto paper, like release it, let it go. And that's an energetic shift to get you back into motion. And that's an element of taking mindset and using it to manage your nervous system to show up in a certain way in your business.
I was coaching a coach this morning, and he asked me, okay, here's the stuff going on. Any suggestions? And that's literally what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Do the mindset reset, right? Do the brain dump. Everything that you're feeling, if you're feeling in doubt, fear, anxiety, the pressure of family and everything, just write it on the sheet of paper. Just write it down. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just write it on the sheet of paper. Because what that does is energetically, it takes the pressure from here and it puts it on the sheet of paper. So now it's the paper's problem. Like you can literally release all of the feelings attached to it. And now it's not your problem. It's the paper's problem. You all of a sudden decompress. And he looked at me and he was like, I know this. Yet sometimes we just need somebody else to help us when we're getting stuck. Because when we get stuck, we can't see through the forest, right? We just get stuck and you get lost, and just have somebody to reach out to. That's why accountability partners are great. Coaches, mentors, others that have been there, have seen the path. They know how to get you forward. They know and encourage you to take that first step. Yeah, it was so inspiring to see and just watch his energy change on the call. Like it literally just, he was like, and that gasp was the realization that, yeah, that's right. I didn't know. How did I not think of that?
And we all get to periods like that. Like even coaches need coaches. And coaching, what we focus on is really that like therapy for your business in a way, because it is that combination of mindset, nervous system management, so that you're showing up a certain way and getting those results and getting clarity on the goal and knowing exactly what your metrics are that you're measuring and all of those things that we like to focus on externally, but it's all of the other stuff that is that inner work and that focus and development. So I want to loop back and just regroup on what we talked about so that you can reset for your business here. The first piece was truly, I would say, the mindset reset exercise. So grabbing that piece of paper, just getting stuff out so you're not starting a plan with blocked energy. That's how I like to look at it. Two great tips on this is I am a personal fanatic of never typing anything. So I love to dictate or talk to text, and I'll just mindset reset everything live. Now, if you're not comfortable with AI, you can do this on a piece of paper, but it's essentially just releasing first, getting clear on your intention. So what's the energy that you want to bring in to September? And then, okay, what are my 3 metrics from a goal perspective? Like, what are the 3 targets that I'm aiming for? And what's my business generating activity that I'm doing no matter what? And we're making this really simple because it can be. And that's how you stay consistent with this. And all the other stuff is nice to haves, but it doesn't have to happen in order to get to that point of your goal.
Yeah, I think less is more right now. Like just focus on energy producing activities, lead producing activities, goal achieving activities, and just less is more. Like let go of all the stuff. Like you and I were talking the other day, right? We have a potential workshop coming up on Saturday. With everything that was going on, it was just, no, we're going to cancel it. We'll do it in 2 months on the next round. And just when I sent that email saying, hey, put me into the next round, I'm not available this week, it was just a relief because less is more. I didn't want to compound that in addition to everything else we're doing. And that's a pattern, right? So noticing patterns, that's what I wanted to add. What you shared is just noticing patterns. Noticing patterns that keep you stuck, noticing patterns that energize you, because we want to do more of what energizes, not what keeps us stuck.
Last story on this for today. But I think our body really showcases, like when anxiety is showing up as an example, that's trapped energy. When depression's showing up, you've now sat through the anxiety wave and now we're in this other shit. And it does manifest in our body. It truly does. So when energetic shifts like that are happening, your body's talking to you and tapping into something. And something that I realized recently, again, through all these like life shifts and moving and all the craziness that comes with that, I was cooking, and this was a couple months ago, so I've since calmed down since then, frantically, like I was on Top Chef being recorded or something, how fast I was chopping this cucumber for a salad. And I actually stopped for a second and was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I could just feel like this frantic, like, why am I rushing? No one's behind me. There's actually no one in the house. Like, nothing. I'm not being chased by an animal. Like, why am I reacting like this? But truly just start to notice, like, enjoy things you're doing. Notice what you're doing. I try to do that now. Like, when I'm eating, I like sometimes count my bites just to make sure I'm like present and I'm not rushing so much. But doing things, and that comes back to the intention behind what you're doing. What is the true energy that you want to bring to the table? And I think just leaving you today with knowing you get to set what that is. And if you don't like what it is, you get to reset it anytime. It's completely your choice, and that power's in your hands.
The power of this next 90 days can be literally life-changing. And the effort and energy and time you put in now will show up in January and Q1 of next year. So every quarter's work shows up in the next quarter. So if you want to have an incredible spring, today is Happy New Year. We start now.
And what we'll make sure to put in the comments is the link for two of the things that we mentioned today. Number one is I'm going to put that link in there for the clarity session, what Jamie just talked about going through with two of his clients. So if you're someone that's like, hey, I need to go through that, I need an external voice to walk me through this process, that's what it's created for, because it isn't easy to do by yourself. We 100% get that. So I'm going to share that link in there. And I'm also going to share the prompt that I worked through this week. If you are someone that loves using AI with that, you can use that on whichever platform you're using, but it just does help you, again, sort of go through that reset and dictate at least some clarity on what these next goals could look like for yourself. So I'll share both of those in the show notes today, but we just want to say thank you for tuning in with us. If something resonated that we shared, we would love if you could like, subscribe, and follow along for the next episode.